Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meier, and today we're going to talk about true healing that lasts. All right. I am a psychologist in my day job, and I take time out 3 times a week or more to make videos for you guys and, upload them everywhere that I can so that people that are in different platforms can get them, but mostly on my YouTube channel. So that you can be equipped spiritually and psychologically, right? I've been a psychologist for over 20 years, and so I want people to not have this excuse that says, I don't have money for a psychologist, I don't have the time, I don't know where they are, I don't know how to find one. Here's one right here, right? And so, when you stop making excuses for your own life, then you stop making excuses for other people. So that's just a side tip right there. But let's talk about healing that lasts, because you can get short-term healing, right? So how this came to me, this idea, I have so much for us today, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys with all of this. I always want to pack in so much. So my videos are very dense. They may seem like, what is she talking about? And what just happened? I know. But be really present in them and watch them over and over again. They're meant to be like repeatable so you can get these truths deep in you, because what happened was we got different ideas from our parents in our early childhood. And sometimes it takes a lot. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it takes a lot of work to get those ideas, to detach from those ideas, right? Okay, so let's imagine, this is how I was thinking of it. I have like scoliosis in my back, so I use myself as an example because then I know that I'm not infringing on someone else's privacy. Sometimes I go over the boundary of my own. But anyway, so I have scoliosis some in my back, right? So let's say that and I welcome all religions, right? But let's say, there's no but, I do, because the same creator created all of us, and I want everyone to have these psychological and spiritual truths and insights. I want you to be equipped, because you're a soul in a body. And so, yes, you want to live your life here masterfully, but to what end? What does it profit if you gain the whole world but lose your soul? Look, there's a bird up there. Do you see it? It's just on this branch, coming off from the bigger branch. There it is. John Butler said that. He said, grace is like spiritual sunshine, all right? And so, oh, and I'm hearing that line in my inner mind from, I love the movie The Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel. He says, life is like, there's like a bunch of storms. One day, you're basking in the sun, and the next day you're thrown off the boat or something. The measure of who you are is how you're gonna face them, basically. How do you keep facing these things? How do you keep doing this with courage, with equanimity, with balance, with love, with patience, with perseverance, with wisdom, with insight, with, all of these things are virtues. And the word virtue, they're virtues and skills to be developed. The word virtue, I was reading in this commentary from the 1100s, right? This guy named Blessed Theophylact, he said the word virtue comes from the word valor. And so you're being heroic, and this is not to build up your egotism. You're being heroic when you learn how to live in these virtues. It's a lot easier not to, let me tell you. That's one of the things that was coming up for us today. It's a lot easier to take a shortcut. I saw that this morning. I was practicing this Willie Nelson song that my guitar teacher had given me to practice. And there's like a bar chord, and it's like, you have to put your whole finger over it and do this with your other fingers, and you know what I mean? It's really hard. And I was just like, let me just learn a different song when it's my time to practice it today, because I could learn a lot easier songs that could sound better too and make me not look like an idiot when I play that chord. I'm playing this whole pretty song, and then when I get to that one chord I don't know, it goes bow, and it just sounds stupid, and it makes me look like I can't play. But who cares? Like, how am I going to learn how to play that bar chord if I don't play it, right? So listen, this will go back. This totally connects with the healing, because I had this written down for us for today. Is when you do everything to feed your egotism and you forget your soul, you're not only not going to learn Willie Nelson songs, it teaches you to give up on the hard things in life. It teaches you to just take the easy route, all right? And I was thinking, like, easy women, easy men, not to be crude. It's just like, oh, someone told me that. Don't go for second best, Cheryl. It's a Kenny Rogers quote. He says, don't be afraid to give up the good for the great, Okay, so let's say you have this, let's say there's a time and people like Jesus are around and they can heal you, and your back is crooked, and you go, please give me the healing, and I go, and I'm not making fun of that, and like, because people would go to Jesus and get healed, and your back is straightened, right? But what would he say? This is a mystic. Understand this deeply and mystically. What would he say to people after he healed them? I'll give you a moment to reflect. We just hear it in this mean, critical way, because we could have had critical parents where we were never enough because they try to use us to fill up their own egotism, and their own lack. But it said, go and sin no more. And the word sin means to miss the mark. To miss the mark of highest love, to miss the mark of highest consciousness. So go and don't return to that old way that leaves you. I keep going up to the sun because it just reminds us, go back. The sun reminds me, like, go back to the one from which we came. I'll use this, the one creator, the oneness from where your soul came from, right? Keep connected to the heavens and connected to the earth. And learn how to love other people and love yourself. And how we do this is we keep going back to this oneness. I was pulling off the freeway to get here, or whatever, the road, and it wasn't free. And there was a sign there that said one way, the one way sign. And it stood out. This is how your intuition works, and how, if you understand, if you have the Holy Spirit, go back to John 1:9, it says that he is the light that came to enlighten all men, that enlightened all men, all humankind, all soul-bearing people have this capacity to be enlightened. But if we keep going back to the easy songs, right, or the easy path, or leaving what's best for us for something less than, then we're not going to know that best thing. We're not going to know the valor. We're not going to know this high honor path where you get to be a true spiritual soul hero, and you get to bring real, genuine love to other people, and genuine protection. Because what do I gain when I go and take from other people because it's easier? I'm hurting them as well. I'm teaching them the easy path, and all sorts of things come out of that. But we can learn from that as well. If I kept singing 20 easy songs, and I'm like, there's no depth to these songs, and there's no contrast, and I'm not being challenged, and I'm not becoming a better guitar player, and I'm not bringing my skill set out into the world. I'm just being lazy. Lazy is just I was taught clinically as a psychologist, I was taught by this Jewish man that was our director in Montreal. lazy is you're not lazy. You just don't know you're worth the effort. Lazy is, I don't know that I'm worth the effort. Look at that sun ray coming down. Look, this is you. Look at that. I can see it in the camera, right? This is you in your life. When you connect with the sun, you bring that sun to other people. It's just like you're carrying that grace, you know? Just like if you were a cop and you were carrying, you know what I mean? And that could protect a lot of people. You're protecting people by your life of virtue, by your life of prayer, by your life of being sincere in your life. Even just being respectful towards yourself and other people will make a huge difference, right? Okay, so this person comes to go get healing. I hope I didn't leave any strands out of thoughts. And they go and get healing, and Jesus says, yes, this is where we were. Go and sin no more. Go. I have healed you. I have made your back straight. You know, I've been working on straightening my back more, sitting up straight. And it's just like, I have healed you. Now don't go back to that crooked way that you were, that the way you internalized from your parents, that you weren't worth this much love, that you weren't worth someone straightening out your back, someone holding you in a way where they're not going to leave you, you know, in a way like that divine love does, you know. And divine love teaches us how to treat other people that way. Like, do you think God intended people to just hop from one bed to the next, you know? I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying, I know how much it hurts my own self. I feel it intensely when it looks like there's this possibility of love, and then when someone chooses a path that's different than that, and they have a prerogative, it's their prerogative to do so. Okay, so Jesus says, go and sin no more. Don't return to that way, to what I have freed you from. Okay, so if your parents are always saying, you're not worth, you're not enough, you have to do more, you're causing shame, whatever they taught you, or whatever you internalize by their own perception of themselves. A lot of the times they could have been trained to be really loving to us, but they were always critical towards themselves, and we took that in as that's how we ought to behave. There's a little girl and her daddy. And so, I know them. All right, and so if we internalize that, then let's say, as an example, right? You start learning how your back is healed, right? Or it got towards healing. Or because I went to like a chiropractor and I had a massage therapist for a year. This is like 6 years ago. Straighten out the muscles so that my muscles would pull my back to being straight, right? But if I went back to believing this thing about my parents that I'm not worth, and that, you know, I have to keep, you know, putting myself down and going back to people that do reject me and letting them back in my life and letting them come waste my time and take my energy again, and people that are always just critical, keep going back to a job where the boss is saying you're not good, you have no worth, you know, I don't even know why we pay, whatever they say. When I keep absorbing that, you know, you can't control all circumstances. I have lots of videos on that, like what can I do? You know, it's in the power of now too. I can either change the circumstance or accept it fully without expecting any difference. And then how do I create a barrier between myself and what that person's saying to me? Because I know they're just projecting their own insecurities on me, you know, while still learning how to do my job well. I still, you know, my guitar teacher, he's so great. He's such a poet. Anyway, if he says you're doing that wrong, you know, he doesn't even ever say it that way. He's so patient with me, like so patient that I'm like, are we on the same page as we were 5 years ago? But we're not. I know we're not. But sometimes it feels like that, you guys. Look. And so if I keep going back hunched down, you know, then how, like, I'm going to keep having to go back and go to the healer again and go, can you heal my back again? Can you heal my back again? You know what I mean? And it's just like someone taught me this, and I did a whole video on it. I don't know if it's on the cover, right? I'll draw it for us, right? But I said it actually has saved my life. It really has. Because I grew up being a perfectionist. And so I learned that, unless you do things perfectly, you don't have worth. And so sometimes when I would mess up on something, quote, mess up, I would just be so despairing. That's like, why am I even here anymore? What is my worth? Blah, blah, blah. I got really, really depressed a lot in different eras of my childhood and adulthood. And this tool has really helped me, right? Someone showed me this. Like, look, this is how we go through in life. And so we might start here, and here we are now. We're up. It's up on the scale, right? It's up. But some days we go back down, and like this day way over here, it looks like we're further lower, and we might be in that moment. But the momentum and what we've learned keeps us on the steady path up, right? And so understand, these are deep, like these are very hard-won concepts, There's a part in the Narnia books, in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, in the first one by C.S. Lewis, where Lucy has this cordial that heals other people. But Aslan says many men had to die to get this cordial, and I didn't understand that as a child. But I understand it now, because I feel like myself, I know in my own spiritual and psychological path, like I've had to pay so much money. We moved houses one time so I could pay for therapy to a smaller house, you know what I mean? And so like, I know how much time and money and tears that I've spent in learning these things. And I don't say this for you to feel sorry for me. I say this to say value this. Value what I'm giving you. In every video, what I'm giving you is something that could save your life and then save other people's lives. It's not just about your life, right? There's one way, and the one way is back towards this oneness, towards understanding this love and this wisdom and this truth that our one Creator gave to all of us, right? That can enlighten all people. And so when Christ came and healed people, he said that not to be like, no, you better not sin anymore because then I'll reject you. He's saying don't go back to treating yourself with less worth than what I just treated you. I treated you with the dignity of making you whole. All right. So you're meant to be whole, right? You're meant to be whole. Look, not full of holes like my pants. Holy, whole is holy. The word shalom means wholeness, sound, safe and sound, All right. And so the one other thing I was thinking about with how to stay into true healing that lasts, is to understand, take self-responsibility for your own, I wrote it down on a notebook, a little post-it note for me, like your own energy, but not to be all weird. I'm not saying anything weird. I'm just saying, like, if we're all vibrating atoms, you want to be aligned and tuned in to divine love. That's God, divine love. And so whenever I go back into the lack and the fear, watch my video on fear, flaps, no more flapping. And like the cover looks silly, but who cares? You guys, who cares what's on the cover, right? It's no more flapping like a chicken. There's an eagle. No more fear, lack, anxiety, and anger. You're staying in that place and trying to prove yourself or protect yourself in false ways by building up your ego, by going after the short-term things that only, going for an easy song is only going to last me for a little while. It's not going to make me more skilled, but what I was also going to say is when you feel afraid sometimes, I'm not saying there's no fear in this. There was fear in me looking like an idiot. That's fearful for me because that means as a child, I'd be worthless. So to look like an idiot, if you translate that from my old childhood filter, which I'm not meant to go back to, means you're an idiot. You're going to look like an idiot, and then people are going to reject you, and I'm going to reject you. And then if I reject you as your parents, then we're not going to feed you, and you could die. And so it is a matter of life and death. It isn't. It feels like that to us until I go back to the song, Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en rose. right? Come back to this. It's like a little rose here. We can find one. Give your heart and soul. You know, I was taught by my spiritual director. She's like, you know, you keep praying, because she told me to pray to receive the love of God. I've been praying this for years now. God, help me to receive your love, because it's so different than what I got in childhood. And she's like, you can't receive the all till you give the all, you know, just a little pointer. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, you know, it's kind of, Bruce Lee says this, you have to empty the cup, you know. Rumi says this, the Sufi poet Rumi says this. You must trade, you know, give up your cleverness for bewilderment. And it was in this passage that we read today. I saw that same message in Luke. I won't go into it now, but it was so cool because it was saying the same thing. Let me see if I wrote down. No, it's on my phone. I think I didn't write down where that passage was. I was reading it. But anyway, the fear. Okay, so sometimes we will have fear. Don't mistake that fear for the fear of like that we get when we think we're in lack and everything. There's this fear that, okay, I just thought of a bird. This is what came to me. A bird. Oh, we saw a bird at the beginning of this, right? A bird that's in its nest, right? A little baby bird that's been flying on the back of its mother, let's say, or whatever. If it was an eagle, let's say that's what they do. I don't know. And then finally, the mama bird, the daddy bird, whatever, has to push them out of the nest so they learn how to fly. Well, you think that's going to be scary the first time? Yes. So is practicing virtue, right? So is practicing virtue. But you're made to live a virtuous life, and so all of what divine love is will help you to do this. You know, it looks like you're going to go right towards the ground, and all this world will say to go fill that up with something quick, some kind of quick fix, you know. But you're worth more than that. You're worth more than that. All right, I wish you so much love. Thank you for being here.